Basically, 1, becoming more loving, 2, becoming more caring, and 3, becoming anti-racist, because, you know, that's... Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm Victoryforu and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be doing episode 4 of Furloughed and Fabulous, and let's just say this one is a little bit different to the ones that you've been used to seeing. But let's get into it. Today we are going to be talking about how to be a Black Lives Matter ally. Basically, these are 10 tips about how to be more loving, more caring, and also, you know, to be anti-racist, because that's what we need right now. We're going to start off with a little dictionary definition of what ally actually means. An ally is a person who is not of a marginalized group, who basically expresses and supports that group of people. So I guess the word ally is used across the board, that it's used, you know, right now for, you know, Black Lives Matter, but it's also used for being an ally for women, an ally for the LGBTQ+ community. Just being an ally full stop is effectively standing by people who are different than you, expressing and standing alongside them, and basically like being good people, because like when you truly care about someone, even if you don't know them specifically, but when you care about people, you automatically, you know, just start caring for them. And at the heart of it, that is what allyship is. Caring for other people who are different than you. That's basically what we're going to talk about today. Over this period, I've had like a few people kind of ask me like, well, how do I take steps to become an ally in this situation? Like, how do I take steps to be an ally for Black people, an ally for, you know, people of colour? Basically someone who is standing up against racism. How do I do that? And I have 10 kind of steps. I mean, they aren't specific. I mean, it's not if you just do these then you are a Black Lives Matter ally. It doesn't work like that. There's so much more, but these are things that I've noticed that are out there more, that I think need to be spoken about and need to be addressed. So first up, which could potentially be the hardest one, but is probably the most important. Firstly, you have to acknowledge your privilege. If you don't acknowledge your privilege, at that stage you don't acknowledge a serious problem within society. There are so many issues and problems within the justice system, within the oh, there's ice cream. Sorry. As I was saying, there are so many issues within, you know, the justice system, within the education system, within the whole government of this country and the world for that matter, that needs to be addressed. And the first way in which you can address it is acknowledging your privilege. So if you are white, male, middle class, you have a lot of privilege in this world. If you fit into any of those categories, recognize that you have a lot of privilege. And once you recognize that you have that privilege, you can, 1, start to notice the issues, and also 2, start to recognize that you can use your privilege to help other people. When you use your privilege to uplift other people, it is not a case of you feeling sorry for them so you feel the need to help them. It's not about that. It's about basic human rights and equality. In this world, everyone, based on various different things that are completely out of their control, are judged and pegged in society and given more or less privilege because of it. If you recognize that, you can help to uplift other people who, based on things that are not in their control whatsoever, you can help to lift them up and to level the playing field. Effectively getting equality. Step number 2 is taking steps to become actively anti-racist. Now, again, this is something that could take a really long time. You know, there's lots of education that goes into it. There's lots of, you know, as I said, acknowledging your privilege, because before you can even take steps to become anti-racist, you need to acknowledge your privilege. So, what is anti-racism? Again, another dictionary definition. I'll put the dictionary definition on screen, but I'm gonna basically tell you what anti-racism is. Anti-racism is effectively being conscious that there is an issue in this world and actively standing against it. So calling people out on things, looking at systems or the way that we speak to people, or the way that people are addressed in the media differently. Again, that could be a small thing to you. You may not even notice it, but the more you start to watch the news and hear the difference between how they talk about a young white man who's been arrested and a young black man who's been arrested, there's a huge disparity. Once you start to notice those things, you'll start to notice more and more and more, and that will basically make you so much more self-aware of the differences and things that happen within your own household that may in fact be racist. Taking those steps to become anti-racist, it could be a long journey, it could be a long process, but as long as you are taking active steps to move towards that direction, that's pretty much where we need to be. Oh, and FYI, just being not racist and claiming to not see colour doesn't really cut it. That's not what being anti-racist is about. When you say you're not racist, that's almost you just denying that it exists, and claiming to not see colour is denying an aspect of someone that, you know, is very evident. So like, if I was to say to you, you know what, I don't see the difference between me and you, I don't see this, I don't see that. If it's something that's important to you, if it's something that's evident, if it's something that you care deeply about, that's an issue that I've kind of like quashed that in you, I've belittled that in you. Don't do that to people. Be anti-racist. Stop saying that you don't see colour because you evidently do. Step 3 is the realisation that no matter how much you read, research, you can do like, you know, deep investigative journalism to find out things, you will never know what racism is like. You can speak on it, you can, you know, stand up for people, but you will never ever know what racism and discrimination is like if you've never been in that situation. I could say that for example, I'm a man. I don't know what it's like to be objectified and pushed down every single day just for being a woman. I don't know what that's like, and I can only empathize with what that's like, but I can never say I know what that's like. So when, as much as you can read about, you know, becoming anti-racist, or read about all of like the things that have happened in this world for the last, you know, 400 years that have pushed down black people and so many other ethnic minorities down within society, don't claim that you know everything. Quite frankly, no one knows everything. We are all learning, we are all growing, we are all moving hopefully towards a brighter future one day, because I know that as much as I'm talking about this and speaking really openly and really positively about it, I know that to get to a place where everyone in this world is anti-racist may not happen in my lifetime, probably won't happen in my children's lifetime, and may not even happen in my grandchildren's lifetime. So it's something that we all need to keep pushing forward, because if we don't, then we're gonna be stuck. And when you get stuck, that's when we get stale. And when things get stale, that's when they smell. And that's kind of what we've been living in for the last kind of 400 years, a very stale system that is hurting so many people. Step number 4 is leave your white fragility at the door. So leave it there. In fact, don't pick it back up, because if you're going to delve into these topics, you're going to realise things that are going to shock you. You're going to realise things about your family, your friends that shock you, and basically you being defensive when someone either, you know, addresses something that you've done to them in the past or currently, and you're there like, oh no, woe is me. That's not going to help. And the reason why that doesn't help is because if it did help, black people wouldn't have gone through all the things that they've gone through for the last 400 years. If feelings really mattered, that wouldn't have happened. But as you can tell, you know, it happened. So when, you know, people are addressing things, when black people come to you saying, you did this to me, I feel hurt me, this made me feel this way. As much as you feel like, oh no, I've offended someone, yes, feel that. Feel that awkwardness, feel that uncomfortability. You have to feel that. And don't try and like worm your way out of it and being like, oh no, like I'm just trying to be a good person, or I am a good person. It's not about that. It's about accepting what happened, taking accountability for what happened, moving forward and being like, you know what, I'm going to take active steps to never do that to anyone ever again. So leave your white fragility at the door. Step number 5. Now this one, this one is very important. just because you have black friends or family does not give you any right, or, you know, it doesn't give you like a free pass card to be, you know, offensive to black people. It doesn't give you a free pass card to say the N-word. It doesn't give you a free pass card to say any racial slurs towards black people or any other group for that matter. It doesn't give you that right at all. So stop pretending that it does. Stop pretending that just because a word is in a song that it means that you can say it. Stop pretending that when, you know, you see something on Twitter that has that word in it and you're like, oh, I agree with it, and then you retweet it. That's still pretty bad. Stop pretending that the people online who have been sharing content like this, or, you know, putting blackface on and doing all of these things, or, you know, saying N-words in videos, like, stop pretending that that's even remotely acceptable. It's not. And the fact that, you know, it stayed on those platforms for many, many years and, you know, probably could still find it. You probably could still find, you know, those really disgusting, horrible, abusive videos that exist somewhere on YouTube. That's disgusting. And personally, I'm gonna say this now, I feel like all social media companies, all companies full stop, need to take accountability for things like that, because if it's being allowed onto your platform, there's an issue. If, you know, people are creating that content and obviously it goes through some kind of system for them to, you know, make sure you're not you using any music that is, you know, copyrighted, because if you do, you get charged. So if you have that technology, surely you could have some kind of technology that is going to, you know, see if someone's saying the N-word or not, or looking at them being like, ah, you probably shouldn't be saying it. So yeah, just stop doing that. And also, I mean, this is a personal thing for me, like, can we just like leave the N-word for everyone? Like, just leave it, full stop. I don't want to take it back. I want to leave it, like, leave it in the past. It's a disgusting word. It's not a great word. Like, just put it to bed. Let's pick up a new word, you know. But that's just me. Each black person is different. Some people are really offended by it, some people are not. That's fine. But just don't use it. If you ain't black, don't use it, full stop. Don't do it, okay? You got that? Thank you.